Welcome back, friend. Today we have a vintage made in the USA Schrade 72 OT dogleg jack. And it was introduced into the old timer line in 1996, the year that I graduated high school, and was produced for 10 years until 1996. The retail price for it in 1986 was $14.95, brand new. And the retail price for it in the final year of production in 1996 was $23.95. So it went up a bit in 10 years. This knife has a 2 7/8 inch clip point blade. Beautiful small pocket knife here. Feels great in the hand. And this has a long pull nail neck. Let's get it to focus a little better here. There we go. Beautiful long pull nail neck. Full flat ground. This is a used knife, but it's in great shape. I don't think doesn't even look like it's ever cut anything. And never been sharpened. Can you see the tang stamp here? Schrade U.S.A. 72 OT. Yeah, it also has a small pen blade. Nice little pen blade. Perfect knife to clean your nails or open your mail or packages. Cut that stray thread on your clothes. The blades are made of shaving sharp, high carbon cutlery steel blades. And that's from the packaging. It says that. And it also said it has unbreakable sawcut Staglon handles, which are Delrin plastic handles. They called Staglon. They're not extremely fancy, but they are attractive, especially the way they finish them so they're smooth and even with the bolsters. Kind of brings out three colors, like three different shades of brown. Very, very attractive for a fairly plain knife. You can also see it has a nickel silver old timer logo shield. I'll give you a good close up on that. They aren't pinned in. I believe they're used some kind of a glue or epoxy, but they stay in quite well. And in my experience, they stay in quite well. Nice saw cut pattern. On the back, or bottom I should say, you have carbon steel back springs with brass liners and spacers, or spacer. I always thought that looks really nice, the brass color with the brown handles beside it. I think it makes a nice looking knife. Here you can see we have nickel silver bolsters, nice and shiny. And we have brass pins on the handles. And there's a little notch for your nail to catch the pen blade, because that sits pretty low in the body of the knife. But that's a nice little touch. And of course you got that long pull for the main blade. Just a nice walk and talk on this too. Most of my Schrade knives, I've noticed they have pretty nice springs on them. There's only a few I have that the springs are light. As compared to my case knives, more often than not you'll get a light spring pull on those. But these are what I'd call just right in the sweet spot, not too strong so you tear your nail when you're trying to open it. And these old timers really work nicely. If we can get it to focus again. They are just a nice working man's knife. And these were all made in the United States, in Ellenville, New York, back when they made knives in New York, the original old-timer plant. And as you may know, they went out of business, or they went bankrupt, or whatever. They ended up being sold, and they moved production out of the country. So a lot of their knives were made in China, and I don't have much experience with any of the Chinese ones, but they did get all the patterns and all the rights to all the old-timer lines, and so they can reproduce any of these they want to, but none of them were made in the United States anymore. That's the only thing they can't claim. Although I thought I heard something about Schrade is making knives back in the United States now, so that kind of makes all my videos I have to proclaim that these are all vintage USA made ones. So if you know if they're making them in the United States again, please leave a comment down below. Get me back up to speed on what the new Schrade company's doing. But as far as I'm concerned, the old ones are the gems. They're not fancy covers like case knives with bone and stag handles. They're your working man's knives, and they were just a nice quality knife that you could depend on. And they had lifetime guarantees back in the day, but as everyone soon found out, it wasn't your lifetime, it was the lifetime of the company. How about, what is a dogleg jack? And from what little I could find out about it, it comes from a pattern of serpentine jacks. It has more of a taper on one end than the other. See, it's a little narrower here than it is on the other end. Its blades are usually in the narrow end. That's what we find here. They're connected on the narrow end of the knife. The head end, or non-blade end, is round or pointed, and that's exactly what we have here. A nice rounded bolster on the end, and on the blade end it's a squared bolster, pinched. And the small round-ended serpentine jack was called the peanut by collectors. So if you're familiar with a case peanut knife, this is pretty close to it. And for the life of me, I couldn't find my case peanut knife to compare this with, to show you how similar they are. But I do have another knife that is very similar, which is an old Camillus Model 21. And you can see it has narrow bolster on this side. The blades are both attached to. And it has a rounded bolster on the head end. They both have clip point blades with a pen blade beside it. This old Camillus is in pretty rough shape, and we may do a cleanup video on this, or I may clean it up and just do the review. I'm not sure yet. If you're interested in seeing me clean this old knife up, let me know. You can see how horribly dirty it is. But it's a nice old Camillus with no snap at all yet because it's so dirty. Larger round-ended serpentine jack knives were often called dogleg jacks. So Schrade decided to call this little one a dogleg jack, and I don't know if that was a tribute to the old bigger dogleg jacks, or I'm just guessing on that. But it's a wonderful size. If you, like I said, if you've had a case peanut, they're just a perfect size and weight, and gives you plenty of function with two knives in the body that you can choose from to use. And this Schrade is very quality. Doesn't feel cheap. It's substantial, has a little weight to it, and it's not too heavy that it wouldn't just get lost in your pocket if you carried this all day. A few quotes from the Schrade 1986 catalog were: "Handmade the way we made them for your granddad," and "Old timer, knives like granddads," and "America works with Schrade," and that was a testimony to them being working men's knives. I don't think you could go wrong with this. I just am very fortunate to have found a beautiful newer model, a newer condition model, I should say, of this old classic. Please subscribe. Also, if you're not sure what sawcut term comes from, right on my table here, you can see all the sawcuts, and that's made to look just like the sawcuts on the handle scale. Similar, but as you can tell, there are real sawcuts. Alright, and thank you for watching, and give this video a thumbs up, and consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.